Hey guys, I wanted to make a video today to, one, update you a little bit, and two, to kind of talk to you a little bit about gastroparesis and the sobering reality of it. First of all, as you can tell, I've had to have a feeding tube put in due to my gastroparesis. I've had them in the past, but recently I had one removed because my body had rejected it, and it was a surgical one that went in my abdomen. And if I remember, I will post pictures right now. And so that was the before and after of my surgical tube, which is a GJ tube. And now I have an NJ tube, which is a nasojejunal, and it goes from my nose to my small intestines. It bypasses my stomach because with gastroparesis, your stomach does not function properly. It physically doesn't want to work. There's lots of reasons that can happen. Some people it's caused by diabetes, and some it's called idiopathic. They don't really know, but it can be caused by other illnesses that that particular patient has. As for me, it's either caused by my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, my dysautonomia, or my myasthenia gravis. And in any of those instances, it's usually damage to the vagus nerve. And also because of that, it could be because in 2007 I had a port put in my jugular, which your vagus nerve kind of runs up that way also. And I had that for plasmapheresis treatment for my myasthenia gravis, and when they pulled my port, they did it wrong, and a lot of bad things happened that day. I lost my vision for 24 hours, and I just lost all function. It was a mess. So it could have been possibly, my vagus nerve could have been damaged from that also. We're just not sure. So with gastroparesis, it's hard to explain to other people who may not, just understand how come people just don't force themselves to eat, even if they have pain or nausea, stuff like that. And it's near impossible because your stomach will fill up, and because it doesn't move, and so things just stack up. Fluids stack up, solids stack up, soft food stacks up, everything will stack up, and you just can't fit any more in. And when it would be like me telling you that, like, when you have the stomach flu and you are, hurling and you're really nauseous and you're getting sick and all of that, for me to tell you, oh, well, you just need to keep eating all your food and all that stuff. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work like that. You definitely wouldn't want to do that. And with gastroparesis, it is like having the stomach flu all the time. There are days where you can get a reprieve. There's hours in a day you can get a reprieve. Sometimes it's just minutes for people getting a break from feeling so sick. It's one of those diseases or conditions that really, really takes a toll on a person. It is, out of all my chronic illnesses, it is the one that causes the most suicides. I can't tell you how many times. It is almost on a daily basis that someone that I know, like in a support group or something like that, has tried to kill themselves. They try to commit suicide, or they do commit suicide, and it's due to their gastroparesis, the suffering that it causes. It causes a lot of pain. It causes a lot of guilt. Because you feel like you're a burden to your family, because you can't hardly function, because you just don't feel good. You never feel good, and so it's hard to do your normal tasks that need to be done and things like that, and people start to feel like failures and inadequate, and they feel alone, they feel abandoned, they feel invisible. They have all these things that goes on. And then you have the torture of the gastroparesis part of when they do try to eat. One time they could eat a food and it'll settle with them, and it'll seem like it's okay, so they'll go to eat that again the next day or something, and your body will reject it. It will not sit well. They'll get sick. And that's happened to me a countless amount of times, and it becomes very, very frustrating. Like, you just feel like you're losing your mind. You want to pull your hair out. You're just, there's no way, there's no rhyme or reason with this condition. And so it causes a lot of roller coaster emotions. There's a lot of pain that goes with procedures. People have, like with getting a tube put in your nose is extremely uncomfortable. I know when I had this done, I grin and bear it. I don't get sedated for it or anything like that. So, I grip the side of the bed as hard as I can, and I clench through it, but it's torture for 20 minutes. And then you have surgeries that you come out of that surgery for like a tube in your stomach or whatever, and that pain will last for months and months. And as in my case, it never stopped. My body just rejected the tube and it had to come out. I mean, it's just torture. It's just you just never know how you're going to feel until you wake up that day. And then even when you feel maybe okay in the morning, you're like, oh, okay. Well, then by afternoon, you start feeling bad again. So you just don't know. It's minute by minute. And so trying to plan activities or plan things with friends or social things is very difficult. And we feel guilty again. There's just so much emotional turmoil along with the physical with this condition. It is just, and it's just difficult for me to even put into words really how hard it is. There's points where I think, I don't know how much more I can take. I don't know how much more I can be tortured. I just don't know how much more I can take. Not that I'm going to hurt myself, but there have been dark days where I felt if I didn't wake up in the morning, that would be a-okay with me. But it's a process and you have to work through all of that. And for me, I've come out to yes, I'm still tortured. Yes, I still have roller coaster emotion days, like frustration, heartbreak, just stuff like that. But what really gets me through now is God, because He, I said the other day about being in a furnace, and I feel like with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they were put in the furnace, and that furnace, they turned it up 7 times hotter. But they still were willing to go in there. And even if God did not save them, they still had faith in Him, and they still trusted Him, and they still were loyal to Him. And that's where I'm at. I'm, whatever happens, the furnace gets turned up 7 times hotter, I'm still going to trust God. I'm still going to trust Jesus. I'm not going to, turn my back on Him. I'm not mad at God. I've never been upset with Him. I don't know. His thoughts are above my thoughts. Even though we have the mind of Christ, doesn't mean we know everything that God, why He does what He does. All I can do is just trust that everything that happens to me passes through His hands first. And He knows what's going on with me. He knows, He sees, and that gives me peace, that gives me comfort, and it gives me the strength to fight every single day, every single minute of the day, to fight through this gastroparesis battle. But some people don't have that. They don't have that. They don't have Christ, and they don't have that faith, and they don't have that comfort and peace. And they, it's very hard for them. And a lot of people lose their life. But, and I can't say there's even people that have Christ that'll lose their life with this condition, because it's that difficult. But I just kind of wanted to share that with you to kind of give you a little sobering look at gastroparesis. Some people make jokes and they say, oh, I wish my stomach didn't work so I could lose weight, and, or I could have a feeding tube. I wouldn't have to, I could just lose weight and all that stuff. That's the worst thing you can say to somebody. Because you don't want this. But I just wanted to let you know that I'm doing okay. I've got my nutrition's coming in. I'm getting to my goal rate. I'm slowly getting my nutrients back. I'm slowly getting some strength back. I am really, really weak for my myasthenia gravis right now because of the lack of nutrition and the havoc that this plays on my body and my other chronic illnesses. But I'm getting by day. I'm getting stronger. I'm able to sit up now. I'm able to stand up without blacking out. And so that's a plus, and I'm very thankful for that. And through all of this, God has been very faithful, very kind, and I'm very thankful for Him. But I just thank you for your prayers, and I just pray that you would just kind of keep all of the people who suffer with gastroparesis in your prayers and your thoughts, because it is very, very, very difficult. And you know, even as strong as I am, I still have days that are really tough. Well, that's it, guys. I just want to thank you so much for your support, those who have supported me and prayed for me. And if you haven't subscribed, if you feel like subscribing to the channel, go ahead. There's usually sometimes other things on here. It just depends on how I feel with our homestead and things like that. But right now I'm recovering and trying to feel better. It is a daily struggle, as I was saying, and but I'm plugging along. So with that, I thank you for watching and clicking on this video, and I will see you next time.